Does this look conservative to you? Does this sound like something that you voted for? A radical leftist in charge of giving reports on how Texas should spend our taxpayer money? Is that what you voted for? Welcome back to Come and Take It. So, remember just a few months ago when the Texas legislative session began and I told you guys that the RINOs were working with the Democrats to empower the Democrats, even though there was this coordinated effort with all of these backstabbing Republicans. They were like, I voted to ban Democrat chairs. Look at me. I'm one of the good guys. Remember? Here's a refresher. As soon as they jammed it all down everyone's throats, they all sent out pictures of themselves and they were like, I voted to ban Democrat chairs. I'm a real Republican. Trust me, bro. Well, you guys are going to be shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Hold on. Let me give you my shocked face. Was that good? Was that believable?
It's pretty good, actually.
You're going to be shocked to hear that even though the Republicans sent out all of these mailers, sent out these text messages claiming that they were taking power away from the Democrats, they, just as I told you at the time, voted to give Democrats more power through both vice chairs and subcommittee chairmanships. So remember, just as we're walking through, as we're navigating this conversation, I just want you to remember, I just want you to keep in mind, you, Texans, elected a Republican majority, okay? And the RINOs chose to squander that by putting Democrats in positions of power, in some cases to abuse that power. In the case that I'm about to share with you, to definitely abuse that power, which is what happened last week. Actually, I should say this happens many times down in Austin. One example of that was last week when Democrat Representative Armando Walle, he's the chair of the Committee on Appropriations Subcommittee on Articles 6, 7, and 8, on which Republican conservative Brian Harrison also serves. Now, Brian is what I would call one of the good guys. He historically, his votes have been incredibly conservative. He does not waver. He is very ideological. He does not go like this. Those of you who are listening on audio podcasts, I just licked my finger and stuck my finger up, trying to see which way is the wind blowing. That's what I'm going to do, as a lot of our leaders here in Texas seem to be totally comfortable doing. That is not Representative Harrison. He is one of our strongest conservatives in the Texas legislature.
He's actually a really cool guy.
He also serves on this committee in which this Democrat is the chairman. Now, I want to explain to you who this chairman is, okay? Because he's not just a run-of-the-mill Democrat, okay? He is a radical leftist, let's be clear. And in fact, on his own website, he boasts being an active member of not just the Democratic Caucus, also the Women's Health Caucus and the LGBTQ caucus, okay? So this is a man who, forget that the left told you that only women should have a spot at the table when talking about whether or not they should be able to kill their own babies in the womb. Remember when women are constantly telling men that they don't have a spot at the table, that they shouldn't have a say in it? Well, only when you're trying to vote in favor of allowing women to do that. Then you can have a spot at the table. But he also, of course, as I just mentioned, is in the very radical LGBTQIA+ caucus. So, someone who is not just what I would call just a moderate blue dog Democrat. This is a clear radical leftist. He was given a spot as the chair on a subcommittee that determines where Texans spend their tax dollars.
Inconceivable.
To add to that, all right, he's tweeting out, he's posting on X that he is receiving visits from Planned Parenthood, he said. Received a visit from Planned Parenthood advocates who are urging Texas to prioritize women's health. I am strong advocate and ally for women's health care. Okay, so not strong advocate in grammar. That's fine. But strong advocate for women's health care, which we all know is really just code for women killing their babies in the womb. Somehow we're calling that health care now. I would call it anything but. But this is who Republican Dustin Burrows, the Speaker of the House, has empowered as a chairman. Does this look conservative to you? Does this sound like something that you voted for? A radical leftist in charge of giving reports on how Texas should spend our taxpayer money? Is that what you voted for? No. I didn't think so. So according to Representative Harrison, Chairman Walle violated the Texas House rules 3 separate days just in this month, the month of March, when he arranged committee meetings for over a total of 15 hours. 15 hours of deliberations, meetings, conversations without any audio and video recordings of said meetings, even though House rules require that audio and video recordings are made available to the public, which I would say is not so much to ask for. That doesn't seem like a far stretch. That isn't asking the Texas House to go above and beyond to say, hey, guys, Texas taxpayers, we are paying for you guys to be here right now. All that we ask is that whenever you hold your little meetings, that you press record on the camera, you press record on the audio, you got your microphones on, and you speak into the microphone so all of the taxpayers across the state can come in and watch, because that is how government should be. It should be 100% fully transparent. All right? So I don't think that that's a far stretch to ask a committee to just record what you guys are talking about. Because if you're talking about and you're saying something that you don't want repeated to all of the Texans that are watching or plan to watch, maybe the problem is you. So I just want to know, before I play this clip for you, I want to know what the hell was said in these 15 hours of backroom secret meetings that couldn't be said in front of Texas taxpayers who are paying your salaries. What was said there, Chairman Walle? Care to let us in on the secret? Now, again, to add insult to injury, this committee was discussing how to spend millions of our dollars. How to spend millions of our dollars.
I literally can't even afford chapstick.
Was the topic up for discussion. And they went above and beyond to make sure you couldn't hear what was being said. Is that something that you trust? Is that a process that you trust, especially in the hands of a Democrat? Not me. I don't.
News and analysis on what's happening in Texas. End your day with daily headlines from Texas Scorecard. Every day at 5 p.m., join me, Brandon Waltons, as we recap the biggest stories of the day and talk about why they matter to you. From the state capitol to town hall, there's no shortage of events happening. Keep up with it all. Watch and subscribe to Daily Headlines from Texas Scorecard.
So I'm going to play a clip of Representative Harrison confronting the chairman about these secret backroom meetings. Watch.
Make a comment here. As you know, this subcommittee met on March 5th, 6th, and 12th for over 15 hours when over 600 decisions were made and over $5 billion of taxpayer money was allocated. And that these formal meetings took place not in a hearing room like we are in today, but in the corner of the Agricultural Museum without audio and video recording. However, Rule 4, Section 19A, subsection A of the House Rules says, and I quote, "The Committee on House Administration shall ensure that an audio and video recording of any public hearing, formal meeting, or work session of the Committee on Appropriations or a subcommittee of the Committee on Appropriations is made available to the public on the internet in a timely manner." Therefore, I raise a point of order under Rule 4, Section 19A, subsection A. The consideration of this report is clearly out of bounds and out of order because the subcommittee on Articles 6, 7, and 8 did not comply with the House rules.
Are you done?
I have made my point of order.
Okay. Well, again, we are here on recommendations by the members of the committee. These are solely recommendations, and we've discussed on Article 6, 7, and 8, we discussed with the parliamentarians the parameters by which we can meet. All the meetings that we had, formal meetings that we had, complied with House rules and House practice. And so your point of order is at this time taken, well, honestly, I'm not the parliamentarian, so I don't decide that. But these, again, are just recommendations to the full committee. And point of order is out of order.
So, first of all, you get a sense for who this man is and what he's about when you just simply watch his response to the point of order. The "are you done?" is just so wholly disrespectful to speak to your colleague that way, who has in good faith said, I believe that what we have done, what you have pushed us to do, is unethical, is against the rules, and we shouldn't be doing it, okay? So just know that he just spoke for himself. This is the guy that the Republicans, namely Republican Dustin Burrows, put in charge of this subcommittee, a Democrat who speaks to Republicans in a condescending manner to seemingly anyone who challenges his abuse of power. And on top of that, a Democrat who, by the way, you're going to watch, doesn't even know what rules that he himself voted for, doesn't even know the rules, is a chairman of a subcommittee. Watch.
We don't decide points of order at this part of the process.
Well, actually, that's not true. According to the House rules under Section 6, duties of this chair of a subcommittee, you are vested with the authority under the House rules that you voted for to preside at all meetings of the committee and to control its deliberations and activities in accordance with acceptable parliamentary procedure. So it actually is you that has to make a ruling on my point of order.
Oh, great. That's about right. We have a Democrat in charge who doesn't even know how to operate his own committee. Doesn't even know what he signed up for. Doesn't even know any of the rules on which he is supposed to be operating. Great work, Dusty. Awesome. Way to go. Great work, RINOs. This is, wow. Not an embarrassment at all to the state of Texas. We voted to ban Democrat chairs.
Didn't even notice.
Got it. Yeah. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, right? Yeah, you totally voted to strip power from Democrats, right? That's why you're putting in all of these idiots who don't even understand how this works. Awesome. So I want to play for you one more clip of this exchange, which, by the way, if you guys are on X, you should definitely go over there and find this clip. I've posted it. Representative Harrison has it on his X account as well. Or you could click the link in the description of this video, and we'll go ahead and put the article there for you guys to read, because it's like a 10-minute exchange and all of it is tremendous. So I suggest you watch it. But here is this Democrat chairman trying to be like, well, it's not our fault that we just didn't have any equipment available or something.
To respond to you, so on recordings, Section 19A, recordings of appropriations meetings, after we can go skip down to Section B for your reference if you're reading the rules here.
Yep.
To the extent that the current technological capabilities prohibit immediate implementation of this section, the Committee on House Administration shall use the committee's best efforts to conform to the requirements of this section as soon as practical.
And Mr. Chairman, the committee did not utilize best efforts to comply with that rule because we had the technological capability to both audio and video record. I saw your staff and countless other staff in that room that all carry iPhones in their pockets. We could have done a live stream via countless digital platforms, and I had my staff check, and countless formal hearing rooms like the one we are sitting in today were available to this subcommittee. We could have used a room like this that has cameras all over the place, that has microphones. But instead, you had us meet in the corner of a museum somewhere that didn't have cameras and didn't have microphones, in clear violation of the House rules. And if you are going to assert, as it sounds like you did based on something you read that some staffer handed you, that we utilize best efforts, then you need to lay out and explain to the committee exactly what are the best efforts this committee utilized to comply with the House rules. What were the best efforts?
The clerk will call the roll.
So you're acknowledging that you, under your leadership, this committee has violated the House rules at least 3 times and you don't care.
The clerk will call the roll.
This guy works at the Capitol, where there are multiple buildings multiple rooms, multiple cameras, multiple microphones available at any given time. And he's really trying to claim we couldn't help it. We didn't have access to audio and video. It wasn't our fault. I mean, don't ask what our best efforts were because we didn't really make any. But we couldn't help it. Please. You chose to meet in the corner of a museum. I mean, you see the blatant disregard for the system, the blatant disregard for the process, the blatant disregard for the rules. This will happen every single time these dopey Republicans empower Democrats because Democrats don't care about the process. They don't care about the rules. They don't care about the system. They don't care about any of that. They only care about advancing their agenda, about advancing all of their platforms by whatever means necessary. And that is why they are constantly 20 steps ahead of Republicans. All Republicans are worried about, okay? All Republicans are worried about, we want to play fair. We want to be bipartisan. We want to reach across the aisle. We just want to give the other side a chance to speak. What has that gotten us? Where has that gotten us? Not just in this state, but in this entire country. Where did that get us? That got us to a spot where Democrats were 20 steps ahead of Republicans at all times. Because if you are playing a game, let's pretend this is a game. If you're playing a football game and one team is playing by the rules and the other team has thrown the rules out the window and they're willing to lie, cheat, and steal in order to win the game, who do you think is going to win? The Democrats, the cheaters, every single time. And yet we still have these Republicans, these dopes in our state legislature who want to continue to give these guys the ball. Stop playing the game with people who aren't willing to play by the rules. So after all of this happened, after Chairman Walle was either too stupid or too arrogant to rule on this point of order, he jammed the vote through anyway. Republicans were on his side as well. Sorry. Republicans, those of you who are listening on audio, we're doing the air quotes again with good reason, okay? So he jammed the vote through and he had this to say about it.
It was a very fair process, a process where there was a lot of deliberation. There was passionate debates on particular items in the budget, and that's fair.
Are Texans just supposed to take your word for that, Mr. Chairman? Because you're not letting them see the video or the audio of that. Are you cutting my mic off? Yeah. Are you cutting my mic off, Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman,
and there is no objection.
Chairman, my constituents are paying for this.
The House Committee on Appropriations Subcommittee, Articles 6, 7, and 8 stands adjourned.
To be clear, this is what you get when the Texas Speaker of the House steals the speaker seat by getting voted in by a majority of Democrats. This is what happens. This is the end result of a Speaker of the House who is voted in by the Democrats. Everything that you're seeing this session, the fact that we have no meaningful legislation, the fact that the Democrats have held off what they've wanted to hold off because they are in positions of power. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. They said they were banning Democrat chairs. They said they were stripping the power from Democrats. Well, you tell me if you think after watching this exchange that that is true. The Democrats rule the roost even though you showed up at the ballot box and voted for Republicans. The Republicans signed away your power, or at least 30-something of them. What was the number? 36? A handful of Republicans, not even the majority of Republicans, a handful of Republicans decided to sign away your power and abdicate their responsibility and neglect the fact that you guys did all the work to show up and make sure that Republicans were the ones who were driving the bus. It's shameful. Who needs enemies with friends like these? It is absolutely shameful. Now, before I go, I'd like to play one more clip. Now, this is for some who might say, you might have a Dusty Burrows supporter who's watching this right now, which, by the way, if you are, I would say, dig deeper, okay? You're on the wrong side. But you might have a Dusty Burrows supporter in here who's watching this and saying, well, It's not Dustin Burrows' fault. Maybe he didn't realize how radical this guy was. Maybe this guy was like really nice before, and he had no way of knowing that this guy was a total radical leftist. Maybe he thought he was a moderate Democrat. As if those exist anymore. So the problem is that this guy already established exactly who he was. He has been in the legislature for long enough. All right. And just last session, he threw this epic temper tantrum over the debate. The Republicans ended the debate on a bill, which all of this is very rich, okay, because he's shutting down someone, but he was very, very upset when Republicans ended a debate on a bill that would allow any police officer to deport illegal aliens. He was very upset about the fact that the Republicans would not let them debate whether or not we should be deporting illegals who shouldn't be in the state. And he really shows you who he is on the inside. Watch.
Y'all don't understand the shit that y'all do hurts our community. It hurts us personally, bro.
Could have just let us
It
debate
hurts
it.
us.
Just let us debate it.
It hurts us to our core. And y'all don't understand that. Y'all don't live in our skin. Y'all don't, man. And that's what pisses me off. I sit there. I've been a good soldier to him.
That's right.
To my own detriment.
That's right.
To my own detriment.
And there it is. He said it, didn't he? He said he's been a good effing soldier for who? Former Speaker of the House, Dade Phelan. And now that Dade Jr., the next RINO speaker, is where he is, the Democrats continue to be emboldened and empowered because they've been good soldiers to these RINO Republicans, after all. So if you are less than thrilled, call it, if you are upset about what has just happened, if you are upset about the fact that the RINOs in the Texas House continue to throw their power to the Democrats and lie to your faces about it, send you mailers and text messages trying to indicate that they have somehow held on to the power and pushed the Democrats away. If that upsets you, if what you just watched upsets you, a Democrat shutting down a point of order, a Democrat not following the rules, and then shutting down any discussion about the fact that they are abusing their power and not following the rules, if that upsets you, I highly encourage you to call Dustin Burrows' office. Tell them how you feel. 512-463-1000. It might be a staffer that picks up the phone. That's okay. You let them know. It might be a voicemail that you get. That's okay. Leave a message. If you don't reach anyone, call again. These people need to hear from us. Okay? And don't sit here and think, well, I don't have time to call, but probably the other viewers who watch this are going to call. No, every single person needs to call Dustin Burrows' office and tell them that this Chairman Walle, Subcommittee on Articles 6, 7, and 8, needs to be held accountable for the fact that he is not following the rules and he is not being transparent. And you, as a Texas taxpayer who is paying all of their salaries, expect consequences for this. Because if you couldn't tell by his reaction, the whole thing, in my humble opinion, was completely planned. Again, I ask, what the hell was so important that they needed to keep it a secret? What were they discussing that was so salacious that they couldn't say it in the middle of the day to Texas taxpayers themselves? Once again, call Dustin Burrows' office. Tell him what you think about that. 512-463-1000. That is 512-463-1000. We're going to leave it right there for this week's episode, but we will see you next week. There's no shortage of things to talk about. Unfortunately, sometimes, every once in a while, I wish that it was just a little bit boring. But the RINOs have made sure that that's not the case here in the state of Texas. So we will see you next time on Come and Take It.
Be sure to subscribe to Texas Scorecard on YouTube and click that bell to ensure you're a real Texan. If you liked this video and want to see more citizen-driven journalism, be sure to click like and go to texasscorecard.com to read about all things Texas. Texas Scorecard, real news for real Texans.